Hey everybody, and welcome to News of the Day. So this is News of the Day video, and we're going to go over right now what's on the board. Happy birthday to Lyle Odie. Odie was a Habs defenseman. I'm going to struggle with, I think, in the 90s. Okay, anyways, he was a Habs defenseman. He was an assistant, I believe, big guy, good fight, and could put up a point or two. So Lyle Odie was one of my favorites of the day. He turns 52 today. Next up, Victor Mete quoted after being asked who would he like to be paired up with for the qualifying round. Mete said he'd love to play alongside Petey, who is Jeff Petrie. There was more to the quote, but I thought that was interesting. So, and it looks like that's how they're going to line up. It's how I had them in my predictions for it, but it seems that is how they're lining up. I think Mete's been out of practice for a couple of days, so I guess it's still his foot's still bothering. He had a broken foot not too long before the play was suspended. So if he's going to be playing, he is more than likely going to be playing with Petrie, and that is who he'd like to be playing with. Now, this is in my new green markers, or my new markers. The green doesn't seem to show up here, but this says Alex Romanov. He's on his way. I don't know if he's here yet or he is on his way right now. He could be just having arrived. He will be missing all of the training camp, the Phase 3 training camp, because he's going to have to quarantine for 14 days. So he's not in Canada yet, but when he does arrive in Canada, he's going directly to Toronto. Imagine staying in the hotel, like doing something. There's some way for them to kind of quarantine there until the hub starts, and he'll be waiting for them in the hub when the team gets there. So we won't see anything about Alex Romanov in the training camp. So if you've been wondering where's Alex Romanov, that's what's going on. He is like en route right now, and that was this morning. I'm filming this a little bit in the afternoon, so I don't know if he's gotten here yet. If he hasn't, he'll be here anytime. In Toronto, I'm in Montreal. Max Domi, that's the big news from yesterday, and I did a quick video on it. Max Domi has opted in. So it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play in Phase 4, but he is in training camp. He is right now. He is skating center on the 5th line, so that's the extra line. And he's wearing that pastel blue uniform, which means he is not in the proper physical condition to. I guess to be taking hits and all that, full hits, and I don't know if that's because he's just not a player slotted into a line, or that's because he's getting into shape and everybody else is in better shape. So he's wearing the pastel blue. I read something about that. It just means he hasn't slotted in, but I think it's because he's not in proper shape. Anyway, once he is, and he's going to be slotted to a line, I guess we'll find out a little more because it's kind of up in the air. We don't know really where he's going to play. Kotkaniemi looks like he'll be on the 3rd line, whether he plays center or wing, and who's going to be with them, not known yet. But Max Domi's here. Now, does that mean he'll be in the Phase 4? It doesn't really, because I think what could still happen is the doctor, I don't know if it's team doctor, league doctors, plus they may not be able to insure him, right? So maybe the insurance company is saying, no, we're not insuring him. If that's the case, the NHL won't allow him to play. Because if he's not insured and he does get sick, he could sue the NHL. I don't think they want that. And a doctor can still say, no, it's still too risky, and Max Domi will not play. Do I think that will happen necessarily? I don't. But as we get closer, it looks like it's really going to actually come out. We're going to have hockey, and well, we'll find out more once once we get to Phase 4. Yeah, I'm looking for words that aren't coming. Okay, next up, Alex Kovalev. Alex Kovalev was named coach of the Kunlun Red Star in the KHL, but also I think that's an actually Chinese-owned team or something to do with China, but it's in the KHL, so he's the head coach now of the Kunlun Red Star. He has been working with the team, I read, for the last 3 or 4 years, so he is now the head coach. I don't know if that means he's got any aspirations to coach in North America or not, and I guess we'll find out over the next few years. Next up, the Norris Trophy finalists were announced yesterday. John Carlson of Washington, probably of these 3 had the best season. I do believe 1 in points, 2 in points, 3 in points. for defensemen. Roman Josi of Nashville Predators and Victor Hedman of the Tampa Bay Lightning. As the hockey guy did put it, Victor Hedman, best defenseman in the NHL. Roman Josi right up there. John Carlson had the best season. And if you look at it that way, John Carlson should probably win this because he had the best season. That's what the award is for. It's not for the guy who's been the best defenseman in the NHL, blah, blah, blah. Who had the best season on defense in the NHL? That's John Carlson. I kind of expect John Carlson will win this. Next up is the Selke Trophy. Nominees, of course, are Patrice Bergeron, Sean Couturier, and Ryan O'Reilly. If Bergeron wins it, it will be his 5th, and that'll be a record. He's tied with Bob Gainey, I believe, so that's who's tied with Bob Gainey. So that would be a record-setting Selke win. Sean Couturier, I want to say he's won it before, or maybe I'm not. Ryan O'Reilly won last year, so maybe Sean Couturier wins this year. I heard some talk about that. A lot of people, I don't remember the exact person or people who said that he's probably deserving of it. But that was earlier, so I don't know if it's still the case. Okay, so this is I'm announcing this like it's actual news. I'm looking for a podcast partner. I have a podcast that I started at the during this season, and it's kind of on hiatus because I was doing it alone, and it's not as fun, it's not as easy to do or as interesting to do. And now that hockey's starting up again, I'd like to get that going again. I'm looking for a podcast partner who is preferably in Montreal. And we can do the podcast together. If you're interested in podcasting with me, either not necessarily leave a comment in the comment section, but you can in the description of this video. My email is there. You can email me, or you can go to Twitter at Talking Habs. That's my Twitter, and you can DM me, and then we can go from there. So if anybody's interested, please get in touch with me, and we can we'll talk about it. Next up. All games will be on Sportsnet. So all the games, and I guess that means all the games. So all the games will be on Sportsnet. I'm not sure. I guess because Sportsnet has 5 channels. So, you know, because there will be times when the East and West are going to have games at the same time. But, yeah, all the games will be there. Also with Sportsnet. They're going to have a 5-second delay on their world feed. So imagine everybody. I don't know. World feed. Are we getting the world feed? I would imagine. It's their feed. They said it world feed. I don't know if that means Canada is different, but they'll have a 5-second delay and they'll bleep out any swearing because this was a big question. What's going to happen? No fans in the stands, no crowd noise means we're going to hear everything pretty loudly that's going to be said on the ice, and they're going to have this 5-second delay and they're going to beep. So we'll know they're swearing. Just we probably won't know what they said, depending on how good the beeping is. New York Rangers forward Brendan Lemieux, that's Claude Lemieux's son. He's going to be serving a 2-game suspension once the qualifying round starts. So he won't be playing the first 2 games against Carolina. That is for the hit he had, or he took on the Avs' Jonas Donskoy on March 11th. And yeah, so he is suspended for those 2 games. Okay, other news. Malcolm Subban is likely going to be the starter for the Chicago Blackhawks. I don't know what's with Corey Crawford. I haven't heard anything specific. I don't know if it's the COVID, if he's injured, he's having trouble, whatever. It seems like Malcolm Subban is going to be their starter. If that's the case and they're playing Edmonton, I've been saying I think Edmonton's going to win. To me, I think that makes it even more likely, right? So it just makes that mountain that Chicago might have to climb really tough when your best goalie is not in nets. Now, listen, could Subban be lights out, have a great series? Any goalie can get hot for a series. So, yeah, it's possible, but it's unlikely, and it's not like he's unknown and we don't know anything about Subban. So, more than likely, Chicago fans, sorry to say, more than likely, you're not going to make it past the first round, the qualifying round. And I don't know if that's the first round or not, because I've heard the NHL kind of say that if anybody in the qualifying round, any teams, even if you lose, you've made postseason. And then I hear people still talking about how that's not postseason. So I don't know if qualifying round is playoffs or not. We'll find out, I guess, after. The Carolina Hurricanes, they took their team photo yesterday, the day before, and they all wore masks. So I'm not a big Carolina Hurricanes fan, that's for sure. But I thought it was very interesting, and I'm like, kudos to them for doing that. They all sat there with the masks. I guess it's a thing of the future for a little while. Yeah. So I guess those teams this year, all the teams that are going to take the with the masks, kind of when you're looking back on it, your kids or your grandkids go, "Daddy, which one are you? I can't tell." Yeah. So that's interesting. And I guess finally, the NHL COVID testing for last week, they announced their numbers. They tested 2,000. They gave 2,618 tests on 800 plus players, and they had only 2 positives, which is kind of awesome. 2 positives. Those both players are self-isolating right now, and they will not be allowed back to either phase 3 or into the hub until they have tested negative. I want to say 2 times, but I think 3 times over 6 or 7 days. So when that happens, these 2 players are obviously unnamed, and the teams are unnamed. And yeah, so that's actually pretty good news in this, that if that is accurate and they can actually keep those numbers that low, next week is really going to be important. That's kind of going to have to be almost 0. But any players who do test positive will stay outside the bubble until they're negative, and that's all. So if the numbers can really stay that low, it kind of looks like they may be able to pull this off. I don't know. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section. You think this is going to happen? I think that's pretty encouraging if you were like me, who I think I said it way back at the beginning. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. If that's the case, that's pretty encouraging to think that they will be able to. So I would have to say we're going to at least start up with the exhibition games, I would think, unless next week, because we've got a week to go for that, if something just, and there's like a bunch of positive tests, that could be a problem, but who knows exactly. We don't know what their limits are for positive tests, if it's going to, what the number is to cancel out everything. How many players have to test positive for them to cancel everything, or how many on a team for them to say the team is kind of disqualified. So we don't know any of that. Okay, so there you go. That's the whole. That's the video. That's the news of the day video for today. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. While you're, because it's down there, a thumbs up. While you're down there doing that, leave me any comments you may have about any of these stories here. My opinions on the stories. Let me know obviously what you think. And what do you think? Do you think that's a good sign? Positive, very few positive tests. What do you think about the bleeping out of all the swearing? I'm curious about that. And I'm curious, what do you think? John Carlson wins the Norris? If you go by best defenseman, like best season for a defenseman, John Carlson should. So what do you guys think? Okay, so that's it. While you're down there doing all that, if you haven't already, please subscribe, ring that notifications bell. That is down there. That's going to get you more videos like this. Right here at Talking Habs is going to be your daily fix of Blue, Blanc, Rouge. Right here at Talking Habs. That's how you usually say it. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it. Listen, stay safe out there, please. When you're out in public, shopping, I think most places now. Well, in Canada, it's starting to be, and here in Montreal, you can't go shopping. You can't go into a public place without wearing a mask. It's very important. So please do that. Be safe. Come back here, watch more Talking Habs videos. I really want to see that happen. And yeah, that's it. So peace out, everybody. Look for my next video. Is actually going to be a preview of the qualifying round. I'm going to do 2 videos, East Conference, West Conference, Eastern Conference is coming up. I'm filming it next. So take a look for it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.